So then, this game's metaphorical glass ceiling has just shattered. And it hasn't just shattered, it's shattered into 1,000 tiny little pieces, and it will never be seen as a proper stable game again. Kinda reminds me of what happened to Double Dash, where for years it was seen as an unbreakable game with no lap skips, and then the Rapture. But I'm not ready to make a video on it just yet. Instead, I'm gonna make a video on this new huge discovery, my annual Wacky Races video. And as a way to make up for last year not having an annual Wacky Races video because I Mandela affected myself into thinking it was July, I've decided to make the upcoming days until that day comes basically filled to the brim with Wacky Races content. I can't confirm the stuff you're gonna see, but you're gonna see a lot of stuff, basically. So, keep your eyes peeled for that. And just as an appetizer, there's something I found while I was speedrunning the game, which nobody else has found in their countless hours playing this game. And it not only really confused me, but once I got a grasp of it, I now understand a core part of how this game was coded. Take a gander at this. It's an adventure mode race in arcade mode, with no collectibles. And also it says select laps at the bottom when there are no laps to pick. Huh? I should preface this by saying that I have no fucking clue how I got this to trigger. And maybe there's a consistent method to do it, and I accidentally ended up doing it, but so far there's no proper way to recreate this. And what's even weirder is that when you enter a race and start it, how many tokens do you think you start with? Because, you know, in some races you start with 2, actually that's most races. In a couple cases, like versus races, you start with 3, and then in battle mode you start with 10, right? Well, in this mode, you start with 0. Yeah, this is the only mode in the entire game where you don't start with a single token. When you complete the race, you aren't rewarded a star, and you aren't rewarded a clock if you beat the DNM time. In fact, even if you do beat the DNM time, it doesn't even update. And then from there, it just brings you back to the sign. So, what the hell is this? Here's what I think's happening. Basically, whenever the game has to load in a specific race type, it always does so as the final action before you enter a race. Like, say, if it's a time trial, the last thing you see are the times. If it's an adventure mode race, the last thing you see are the star and the clock. If it's an arcade mode race, it gives you the lap counter and the difficulty, and so on and so forth. But at some point while I was entering the time trial mode, either due to me entering it while the game wasn't checking, or due to some other random circumstance, I'm guessing that it never set the value that says, hey, this is the time trial mode, to the value that says, hey, it's time trial mode, and instead just left it blank. And then from there, one of two things happened. Either A, it loaded up a normally unseen mode that was previously only used for the developers to basically use as a springboard when developing other modes like the Golden Monthly Challenges and the Knockout Challenges, or B, the game went, wait, I can't find a value for this, what do I do? And loaded this as a default. To be fair, both of them have merit because there's a lot of explanations as to why they may have loaded. You know, that would explain why you don't unlock anything for doing this, because it's only used as a safety precaution to go, oh, I don't know what I have to load here, just put it there instead. It explains for both reasons why you start with 0 tokens, because no token value would have been set, and it also explains why the AI is set to normal difficulty. It's really interesting to look into this glitch, considering that it basically didn't exist before I accidentally stumbled onto it, but that's got me thinking. I wonder if someone can recreate this glitch on a battle track. What happens then? If someone can figure that out, I'm going to be very impressed. But either way, that was just a small taster for what's to come in the next month. Get ready, because I feel like this game is not going to be the same by the time I'm done with it.